What would happen if you were to tread on a nail using uncertified and untested PPE? I'm Andrew Shorley, RS Pro Engineering Manager, and I will be using this spike in a guillotine delivering 600 kilos of force at nearly 10 miles an hour into this corner of the cob. It will be travelling up and down this carriage and controlled electronically from the top. The idea being it will be testing the insoles of our 3 samples we have here. The carriage itself will be travelling at between 9 to 10 miles an hour. This is the equivalent of, say, someone running through a building site. I'm sure that their site safety would have something to say about such things, but it would be a good indication of what would happen if they were to tread on a nail or some other sharp object. The design is intended to test the insoles of these 3 shoes. We're going to be using a corner of the cob. Although it's not a particularly good human model of the human foot, it will give a very good graphical representation of if the insole fails and the spike penetrates the shoe. Unfortunately, it's very difficult, apart from stepping on nails, which I wouldn't advise, to actually identify if they're approved or not. The products themselves should have all the relevant information visible and attached to the shoe. This one has nothing, so really I don't know what's going on with this one. This one has only the most basic of labels. Again, no indication of what type of approval you've got. Finally, you've got the fully approved, certified and safe version. Again, not easily identifiable if it's got the insole, so we'll need to do some testing. First of all, you can clearly see where the spike has actually penetrated the sole of the shoe. However, more importantly, we need to see how the corn's fared inside. As you can clearly see, the damage is quite localized on the shoe. Even though the spike hasn't pierced the sole of the shoe itself, there is localized damage. This would potentially have resulted in a broken bone, but certainly muscular damage. I would not have liked to have worn this shoe. I had to pull this off the spike from the test rig, and the puncture mark is clearly visible. But more importantly, let's see how the corn's fared inside. Unfortunately, not very well. It does not appear that the spike has actually penetrated the shoe itself, but the sole has flexed significantly, so much so that it's quite clearly broken the corn. Not only that, there is extensive crush damage around the top of it. This would have most certainly have resulted in broken bones and muscular damage. This is not a safe shoe. So for this test, initially we thought it had caught on the spike, but on closer examination, the sole itself had just gripped the nail. There is no penetration. More importantly, let's see how the corn's fared. As can be seen, there is next to no damage whatsoever on the corn itself. There is no sign of trauma, crushing, and certainly it hasn't split it. The armoured insole in this shoe has been significantly strong enough to actually resist any form of damage to the foot, in this case the corn on the cob. This is a fully certified and safe shoe, and certainly one that I would feel confident in wearing in a workplace environment. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to watch out for all our other videos where you can see us destroying various types of PPE.